Every time someone disrespects you, you feel it in your chest before you even think. That heat, that rush, that need to say something, do something, prove something. And most people call that passion. They call it having standards. They call it not letting people walk over you. But there's another word for it. Leash. Think about the last time someone said something that ruined your entire day. Maybe it was a comment, a tone, a look. Something small, objectively small, that you could not let go of. You replayed it. You drafted responses in your head. You told someone else about it just to feel validated. And while you were doing all of that, that person had already moved on. They didn't lose sleep, they didn't spiral, they just kept going. And you gave them hours of your mental energy for free. Here's a story. There was a man named Marcus, mid-30s, smart, driven. But everyone around him knew, don't poke Marcus. Because if you criticized his work, he'd spend 3 days defending it. If someone cut him off in traffic, he'd tailgate for 2 miles. If his boss gave feedback, he'd go home and vent for an hour. He thought he was being assertive. He thought he was standing up for himself. But his colleague, quieter, less intense, kept getting promoted, kept getting respect, kept getting opportunities. Same environment, same challenges, different internal operating system. Here's what psychology actually tells us about this. When you react automatically to every stimulus, every slight, every criticism, every inconvenience, you are operating from what researchers call low self-regulatory control. Your prefrontal cortex, the part that thinks, plans, and decides, gets bypassed. The amygdala takes over. You're not choosing your response, you're emitting one. And here's the brutal part. People around you learn this. They learn your triggers. Consciously or not, they start to use them. When you're predictably reactive, you are controllable. You hand your nervous system over to whoever decides to push the right button. Viktor Frankl, who survived Nazi concentration camps, put it like this: between stimulus and response, there is a space, and in that space lies your freedom. Most people never find that space because they're moving too fast. Every reaction feels justified. Every response feels necessary. But justified and strategic are two very different things. Non-reactivity is not passivity. That's the misunderstanding that keeps people stuck. Not reacting doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean you're cold or checked out or a pushover. It means you've made a decision about who gets access to your emotional state. The calmest, most powerful people you've ever met weren't calm because nothing bothered them. They were calm because they had something most people don't: a gap between what happens to them and what they do next. That gap is the whole game. And here's how the identity shifts when you actually internalize this. You stop being someone who responds to the world. You start being someone who moves through it. You stop being someone who needs to correct every wrong perception people have of you. Because you know who you are, and you don't need their reaction to confirm it. That colleague of Marcus's? She wasn't cold, she wasn't unaffected. She had just decided, somewhere along the way, that her energy was a resource, and she stopped giving it out for free. That decision changed everything about how people experienced her. How much weight her words carried. How much room she took up in a room without saying anything at all. Reactivity signals insecurity. Stillness signals power. Not the kind of power that comes from dominating people. The kind that comes from not needing to. The moment you stop reacting to everything, the moment you choose that gap, you stop being a puppet of circumstance, and you become something most people spend their whole lives chasing. Somebody who can't easily be moved.